Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time it's Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, and we're going to be doing the introductory scenario, or so they say, the approach of Azathoth. And yeah, so we're going to be playing two characters. We will be playing with Mark Harrigan. I wanted to say Harrington, but it's Harrigan, and Agnes Baker. We'll be taking a look at them in a second. This is the board layout for the approach of Azathoth, which is one of these cards, and it basically tells you how to do everything, how to set up everything. It goes through a bunch of steps, what you need for the Mythos cup, what you need for the monster deck, and final setup, add 2 and 3. Create the temporal anomaly deck using temporal fissures. All these good things are going to be done. So we will be taking a look at this, which is basically the introduction to this scenario. And we don't really know what we need to do. There's Doom already populated on the board. There's some clue tokens in different locations. The gist of the game is we need to collect clue tokens to figure out what's going on, to stop what's happening. And Doom is bad, and that's these tokens here. And we'll get into how everything works as we play the game. So there we have that. And so we're going to take a look. We have our item deck. I put it right down here at the bottom of the board. Randomly shuffled all the items, and 5 of them show up. They are being able to be purchased at certain locations along the board. And there's that. So we're going to take a look at our two characters. We're going to look at our item deck. And we're going to look at the scenario. And I think we're going to have a first turn so you kind of see how things work. There are these handy player aids which tell you all the player actions, and it gives you the phases of the game. We'll go through that a little bit too as well. Alright, let's take a look at our first character, which is Mark Harrigan. Alright, so here we have Mark Harrigan, and it tells you his starting possessions, one-man army, which he has here. We'll take a look at that. It says, after you end your movement in a monster's space, or after a monster moves into or spawns in your space, you may become delayed to perform an attack action as an additional action. You get 2 actions on your turn. You would be able to get 3. And he starts with $2, you see here. And he has choose one, Sophie's Portrait or War of Attrition. So we decided not to take War of Attrition, which basically says at the end of your turn you may suffer any amount of direct damage to deal damage equal to 1 less than the amount of the monster you're engaged with. So we could beat ourselves up to take a monster down. But I chose Sophie's Portrait instead, which is an item curio. Once per round while resolving a test, you may suffer 1 damage to reroll 1 die or all dice. So that I think might be pretty useful. And it says when you use your dogged ability, this item recovers 1 sanity. Well, what is dogged? I'm not going to read the story so far, it's very long. It gives him his backstory. His primary role is Guardian, and there you go. So let's take a look at this side, which he has 8 health, 4 sanity, and his dogged ability. At the start of your turn, if you are delayed, you may focus 1 skill of your choice or recover 1 sanity. That's pretty cool. And steadfast, you may perform the attack action any number of times per round. So normally you can only you can't perform the same action twice, but he does have steadfast. He could attack twice if he wanted to for his 2 actions. And his focus limit is 1. What is focusing? Well, focusing basically means you can add a +1 to any one of your skills. You can only focus 1 time. Like, you can't focus lower twice. He has a limit of 1, so you can only put 1 focus token on. So that's it for him. But he's pretty beefy. He's got 4 for strength for fighting, and he's got a willpower of 4. So he's our monster hunter, I think. So, alright, let's take a look now at Agnes Baker. And here's Agnes Baker. Her starting possession is Heirloom of Hyperborea, which is this one. After you cast a spell, you may focus 1 skill of your choice. That's cool. And she starts with $3. Got here. I guess I'm going to keep the money up top, because if we get any bonuses to our skills, focusing them. So she could choose Storm of Spirits or Flesh Ward. Did not choose Flesh Ward, which is basically a protection spell. Once per round, you're another investigator or ally in any space would suffer damage. You may test your lore, prevent damage equal to your test result. Harrigan has a lot of health, so I don't think we're going to do that. This one is a better one for her, I think. You may test your lore in place of strength as part of an attack action. That's pretty cool. You do lose a sanity, though, for using it. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner there. So let's take a look at her stats, then. She's the Mystic, and let's see. For her stats, she has 6 health, 6 sanity. She has a focus limit of 2, and she has blood casting. You may suffer damage instead of horror while casting a spell. So instead of losing the 1 sanity here, she could lose 1 health instead. And she has blood as power. While casting a spell, if you suffer damage or spend remnants, you get +2 lore. That's pretty cool. So while casting a spell, so if she takes damage instead of the sanity damage, she gets +2 lore. So she could have 6 lore. And I'm not sure how long that lasts. Probably for the round, for her turn. So that's Agnes Baker. All right, let's take a look at the 5 items that are randomly purchased, or randomly set out that we can purchase. All right, so on the bottom of the play area, I put the item deck. So we have a Mystic Tome. So you have one-handed and two-handed items, and you have some that don't have anything. So this costs $4, 2, 2, 1, 4, 4. So you can see the cost. Mystic Tome item curio. You get +3 lore while casting a spell. Whoa, that's pretty awesome for this one. And a baseball bat. Harrington could use that. You get +3 strength as part of an attack action. After this test, if you roll at least 1, this item suffers 1 damage and has a health of 3, so it will eventually break the more you wail on monsters with it. But it only costs $2. Painkillers, item common. Ignore the pain. The pain isn't what's going to kill you. So you can basically use this to put damage on it, 2 damage until it goes away. So instead of putting damage on your character, and we have a 45 automatic, +3 is part of an attack action. Cool. Costing $4 though for the gun, one-handed weapon. And a bulletproof vest. Once per round, if 2 or more damage would be dealt to this card, prevent 1 of that damage. Cool. So we have a bulletproof vest. So those are things we can buy. Of course, you have to be in certain locations to be able to buy stuff. So yeah, let's take a look then at our scenario. Okay, so we're playing Approach of Azathoth, and it is the story so far. At the center of infinity slumbers Azathoth, lulled to sleep by the ceaseless piping of accursed flutes, yet some mortals would seek to draw the infinite power of calamity of this blind idiot god to them, and thereby doom all of humanity. Alright, we're starting at the train station. That's where Agnes and Mark are going to start at. And we have a reckoning effect here. For each cultist monster, place 1 doom in its space. We have a couple of them out on the board right now. We'll see that here in a second. If it's in a street space, place the doom in an adjacent neighborhood space instead. Yeah. But we're going to go cultist hunting, I think, here at the beginning. Alright, so as part of our setup, we're going to be taking a look at card 2 and card 3 of the Codex. So let's take a look at those, and that's going to kind of give us the hint of what we're supposed to be doing in this scenario. Alright, so we have Codex 2 and Codex 3. And anomalies, people walk with their heads down, shoulders hunched. With each new oddity, it becomes harder to pretend that nothing is wrong. But the vanishing, the strange lights, the sightings of inhuman creatures, they are not something that can be ignored, at least not for long. So we have a doom effect here. When a space has 3 doom, or a neighborhood has a total of 5 doom, place an anomaly in that neighborhood. That is not good. In addition to doom, if additional doom to be placed in a neighborhood with an anomaly, place the doom on the scenario sheet instead. Ooh, which is not good. If you would resolve an encounter in a neighborhood with an anomaly, you resolve an anomaly encounter instead. We have an anomaly deck already set up. When a neighborhood has 0 doom, remove the anomaly from the neighborhood. So that's kind of a typical one for the game, this anomalies. There are other ones for different scenarios. But we have Deja Vu. The day dawns, the color of hammered lead. With a stillness and chill that settles over the gabled roofs of Arkham and lingers. As you go through your morning routine, you cannot shake the feeling of having done it before. The same breakfast, the same headlines in newspaper. Warning of disappearances and odd goings-on. And a note in your handwriting reading, the Demon Sultan approaches. Meet at the train station. Alright, so it says here, so a clue or doom. When there are 3 or more clues on the scenario sheet and neither cards 4 or 7 are in the codex, add card 4 to the codex. Do not remove this card from the codex. Okay, and here, when there are 3 or more doom on the scenario sheet, flip this card. We probably don't want that to happen. So that's kind of the beginning of the game. We're going to zoom out. We're going to actually do a round. And of course, to do a round, we have to know what a round is. So we have 4 phases. We have an action phase. You perform up to 2 actions. You cannot perform the same action more than once. And while engaged in a monster, you can only focus, attack, or evade. That's all you can do. The monster phase, each ready monster activates. So ready monsters are basically this side, and ones that are not ready are the other side, just so you know. So they do their thing. Then you have an encounter phase. You draw and resolve an encounter matching your space, unless you're engaged with a monster. It says it right there. And then you have the Mythos phase. Of course, you draw 2 tokens from the Mythos cup, and in my case, it's the lovely Mythos bag. And you do what it says. So all investigators do this in player order. I'm having Mark Harrington be our leader. Now, I didn't put the token with him, but he will be the leader. And then we have player actions. There's a whole bunch of them. So you can move, you can gather resources, you can focus, you can ward, you can attack, you can evade, you can research. So you test your observation, place clues equal to your test results in the scenario. So basically you have to collect the clues from locations in the street spaces or the downtown locations, wherever you are. If there are clues there, you might find them. And then you have to do a research action to actually put the clues on the sheet. And as you saw, once we have, I think it is 3 or more clues on our sheet, then we add 4 to the codex. Hopefully pushing the story forward and we figuring out what's going on. And you can trade with someone else if you're in the same space. And some things have actions on them, like player cards or player items. And there we go. While engaged with the monster, you can only focus, attack, or evade. Alright, let's begin with the action phase. Alright, so we're a bit long shot of the board again. So we have our unstable space is right here at the river docks. This is all part of the setup. There's also a doom there, so I'm just leaving the bead there to remind us, because certain effects will say bring a monster into the unstable space. Well, the unstable space is the river docks. We have a doom here at the unvisited isle. We start here at the train station. So this is here is the train station with Mark Harrington and Agnes. We have a doom up here. We have a cultist here and a cultist up there. We have a doom, a clue. So we have clues in the merchant, 1 clue in the merchant district, 1 clue in downtown, 1 clue in East Town. Of course, there's a doom there as well. So we want to go around the board, try and get rid of doom. We also want to take out some of the monsters that are lurking around, help us out. We want to buy items. We want to figure out what's going on. I also do have a set of these dice, which are really cool. We'll try and use them for the game. And these are the ones that come with the game, little black dice. So they're all good. Okay. Oh boy. So we have 2 actions. So we're going to do some basic actions to start with. First, we're going to have Mark Harrington go, and he has, well, he's got 2 actions. So he's going to do a movement first. I think he's going to head over to this cultist up here, see if he can take him out. And so moving on to these joining locations costs 1 movement. You can move 2 spaces for each move action. You can also spend $1 to move 1 extra space, and you can do that twice. So if you have a couple dollars, you can actually move 4 spaces on the board. So let's have Mark Harrington move. He's going to go 1, 2. He's going to spend $1, 3, and get right in there. So we're going to spend 1 of his dollars. I know, hard-earned. You can do a what is it called? Not a focus action. You can do a gather resources action to just gain $1. So there's that. All right, he is now engaged with this monster. So let's take a look at it a little more closely. This would come down in front of his player area. It's a robed figure monster, a human cultist. So it has 1 health. It would do 1 damage to you if it attacks you, but we're attacking it first. So the modifier for strength is nothing, and so this is for fighting, and this is for evading. It just has no modifiers. The long robes and deep hood throw the figure's face into darkness, but the hand that reaches for you seems to shine in the moonlight. So we're taking it on. So basically, this will go over to Mark Harrington's spot for his second action. So that was his move action. His second action, of course, he's going to attack the cultist, because why wouldn't he? So he has a strength of 4. So we're going to be rolling 4 dice. Successes, as per any of these games, are 5s and 6s. So we just need 1 success because it only has 1 health. So we're going to get out the dice tower here, dice tray. And we're going to see if we can get 1 success. Try and take this guy out. Oh, holy jumping. And yes, he is a bruiser. We ended up getting, as you can see, 4 5s. 4 successes. So yeah, absolutely crushed the cultist. It goes back onto the top of the monster deck. So he just walked in there and annihilated that cultist. Right on. Good stuff. Gone out of here. We're not going to be seeing him for a while, I don't think. that was Mark Harrington's turn. I know, very quick. And we're going to have Agnes going next. I'm probably going to zoom down a little bit here. Now, there's a bunch of doom down the Merchant District. There's also a clue down here. Oh, and I also wanted Mark Harrington up here because there's a clue here when we get to the encounter phase. So we're going to have Agnes move. She's going to come down to the Merchant District. All right, so we want Agnes. She's also going to, for her first action, she's going to move. So she's going to go 1. And she's got a choice. She can either go to the river docks or the Unvisited Isle. I think she's going to go to the Unvisited Isle because if we look at the icons here, lore and, what's that other one? Lore and wits? Lore and willpower might lead to keys or remnant tokens. And there's some doom here. So her first action was to move. Her second action is to do a ward action. She's going to try and get rid of this doom token. If you get rid of 2 or more at the same time, you gain a remnant token. Remnants are good things to have during the game, but of course we don't have any yet. So she's going to do a check, which is basically a lore check to try and remove the doom. And her lore, as we know, is 4. So she will be rolling 4 dice. She just needs 1 success. So every success you get removes 1 doom. So she gets 3 successes. 2 6s and a 5. Wow. So easily removing this doom from the board. Gone. Well, that's going to help us out because we don't want doom accumulating in the different areas. All right, that was our first part action phase. Now it's the monster phase. Each ready monster activates, usually moving. Okay, so we have 1 monster left on the board. It is going to activate. So the 1 monster we have is right here. It is a robed figure cultist. It's only 1 left on the board. It's got a movement of 2. And it says right here, spawn in unstable space. So it moves 2. Now it's going to go, what is its, let's see, what does, oh, I don't think there's any special, or maybe on the bottom it says. Let me have a look here. Patrol, move toward unstable space. Oh, engage the highest person with that ability, influence. Well, it's going to move towards the unstable space, which is right here. So it's going to go 1, 2, and it does engage Agnes. So it will go in front of her. And I do believe now it is going to fight her because it is in the same space. So it basically becomes engaged with Agnes. It's going to go over in front of her play area. And we're going to have it attack her. And of course, now would have been a good time for her to have Flesh Ward, but she doesn't have it. So I think all this does is we take a look at the monster, and it will give her 1 damage. So it just walks up and claws at her, kicks her, whatever it does. It's going to give her 1 damage. Let's get out a damage token, and boom! Agnes has been somewhat damaged. Yeah, so she has 1 damage of 6. She still has 5 health. Okay. That's going to be the end of the monster phase, I do believe. So it's engaged with her. Now it's the encounter phase. So we're going to draw an encounter card for Mark Harrington. Then we're going to draw an encounter card for Agnes. All right, so for encounters, we're in downtown for Mark Harrigan. Such a weird last name. Harrigan, he's in the downtown. So we're going to draw a downtown card, which is this one. And he is sitting at Independence Square. All right, so let's take a look. And it is not the clue one. There's a clue in downtown somewhere, and you shuffle in the clue card in the top 3 cards. So obviously, this is not one of them. He is at Independence Square. So let's see. I'm not sure how that's going to focus. Looks like it's focusing okay. Anna Kozlov, the old soothsayer, is offering tarot readings. You may spend $1 to have her tell your fortune. If you do, the cards reveal that many challenges await you in the future, but you will triumph. If you believe in yourself and trust your intuition, you gain the moon. Oh wow, we have to look. I'm going to pull out the moon, see what it is. Mark Harrington has $1 left. Let's see if he wants to do that. Alright, so I found the moon. It's one of these special cards, and it is basically... it's an item curio, and it's increase your focus limit by 1. So Mark Harrington's focus limit is 1, so this would make his focus limit 3, and it has 3 sanity on it, so we can use it to suck up some sanity damage, and then it will disappear after 3. I believe that's how that works. So we could spend $1 and get this, or we can just say, you know what, nah, let's not have our fortune told, because we know what's going to happen, and it's going to be bad. I think we're just going to skip that. we're not gonna waste our dollar for the moon. And so we're just going to have that encounter. We say, no, thank you very much. We're not going to do that. And away that card goes to the bottom of the downtown deck. All right, that was Mark Harrington. He didn't want his fortune told. He's not into that. Let's now take a look at Agnes, and she's going to have an encounter as well. But I forgot, because Agnes is engaged with a monster, she does not have an encounter phase. If you're engaged with the monster, you don't have it. So boom, off we go now, right into the Mythos phase, where we draw 2 tokens out of the bag for each character. Okay, here we go. Reaching into the bag for Mark. His first token is going to be a blank, so nothing happens. Boom, put that to the side. His second token will be, he pulls 2 blanks. Mark Harrington didn't want his fortune told, because he's like, you know what, I don't want my fortune told because nothing is going to happen. Oh boy, all right, 2 for Agnes. I'm sure she's not going to have the same luck. Oops, she gets a Doom token. All right, we have to populate Doom somewhere on the board, and I have to quickly check the rules to see how we go about that. All right, so to populate Doom on the board, we are going to take the bottom card, which I have the deck all set up here, and it is going to show up at that location. And that's also, going to be the top card of the discard pile. And that's going to change the unstable location. So the beginning setup of the game said the unstable location was River Docks, but we are putting Doom at Hibbs Roadhouse. So that is going to now be the unstable location. And Hibbs Roadhouse is located in East Town. So, oh great. So it's unstable location over there. And yes, we add another Doom. Remembering, if we get 5 Doom in any one region or location like East Town, then the place will get an anomaly showing up in the center, and that's bad. So this now just becomes the discard pile. So we're going to put that on there, and that's as my rule book falls off the table. And that's now where the unstable location is. All right, that was token number 1 for Harrington. Let's see what for Agnes. Let's see what else we get. And we get, oh no, that I think is even worse. It's like a gate burster happening. Ooh, this is not good. I'm going to have to double check that one as well. All right, so to do the gate burster this time, this time we take the top card of the event deck, which is this one, and we're going to go to that. We're going to go to north side. We're not going to look at this card. We're going to go to north side, which is right up here, and we're going to put 1 Doom at every location. That's 3 of them. 1, 2, oh my goodness, 3. We have 4 now in north side. We're 1 away from having an anomaly show up in the center. And when that happens, you get one of these things, boom, in the center, and yeah, bad news. We don't want that. So this now gets shuffled with those 2 discarded cards, and they go on the bottom of the event deck. So we're just going to shuffle those 3 up and just shove them to the bottom of the event deck. Boom! Which means, kind of like Pandemic, those cards are just going to keep accumulating the same cards, and Doom's going to start coming out in the same locations, which is bad news. So 1 of the 3 cards now at the bottom is here, and if we get another Doom there, not good. All right, Mr. Readjust the camera. That's going to be our first turn of the game. We've gone through all the phases, and then when we come back tomorrow, we will start into another turn. All right, this is the beginning of Approach of Azathoth. We're playing Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. It's a long game. Trust me, it's going to take a while for us to get through this, and I've got time. It's winter time, and of course, we're going to be doing video. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, and likes. Again, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. I've not played this before. This is my first time. I actually own and have played the 1st edition. I may have to do that on my channel at some point. In fact, I'm going to grab the box right now and show it to you, and I'll be right back. And here it is. Yes, indeed. This is Arkham Horror, the board game for monster hunters. The original. And absolutely, we are going to play this at some point in time. It's old school. It's just pretty cool. I don't know. I do have it. I do like it. And here are all the components. Anyway, we'll get to this at some point. If you guys want to see that, just let me know in the comments, and we'll play that sometime. But anyway, this is 3rd edition. This is a of course, an improvement from the old days, but the old one is still, from what I remember playing it back in the day, a lot of fun. Very hard to beat, but a lot of fun. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, and likes. Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. We're playing Approach of Azathoth, and we don't know what's going on. So we will find out. And we have the cultist now is engaged with Agnes. So she's either going to have to fight it for her first action, get rid of it, and then she'll be able to do something else, or maybe evade it. I don't know. So thanks so much. I'll see you next time. And one little correction here at the end of the episode. The unstable space. If the discard pile of the event deck there isn't any discard pile, the unstable location becomes the starting space, which in our case for this scenario is the train station. So this is going to bounce around the board depending on the discard pile for the event deck. But if you don't have a discard pile for the event deck, which we of course we shuffled back in now, because of the gate burster, it is the starting space, the train station. So thanks so much, and I'll see you tomorrow for the continuation of Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. We're playing Approach of Azathoth.